Hi, I'm Stuart and I'm the author of Extreme Nouns, Ingredients for Advertising Ideas. The basic idea of the book is that to communicate effectively, you have to use basic ingredients to get your message across. What are extreme nouns? It's a term that I've come up with, and all it means is nouns that are related to a message you want to communicate. Now, when it comes to things like advertising or comedy ideas or teaching, you're normally talking about something and what that something does. So if you're using extreme nouns, you'd most likely start with a couple of pages going to the category and also the extreme or the emotion that you want to communicate about that category. Extreme Nouns started off as a project for myself. I was doing a course called Award School, and each week we had to do advertising for different propositions. We might have to advertise something that was extreme, like the biggest bus or the fastest train. It would always be some sort of emotion or extreme that we had to get across. So I thought there must be a simpler way of making these lists to start springboarding ideas. So I started writing down every category I could think of that would describe some sort of product. I wrote down all the different product categories, different types of associations that you'd use in advertising or trying to get messages across to people. Such as we've got under the extremes and propositions and truths, we have things like biggest, smallest, brightest, darkest, calming, stressful, right down to safe and risky. There's quite a few categories here, just about everything that I can think of that would be a way of describing a product or a type of product that you want to talk about. I've broken it down into the different categories here. And within these categories, you find your springboards to ideas, which is the nouns. So, for example, in vehicles transport, you'd find a toll booth, a convoy, a car wash, ice cream truck, all the way through to things like obscure things like fallopian tube or a slingshot. And then from these different nouns that you wouldn't have necessarily thought of as first thoughts, you can bounce off into other categories. Fallopian tube, for example, you might go, that could be new, old, or that could be youth, or that could be a child. And then within that category, you'll find a whole bunch of nouns as well, which then springboard again into other categories. It just keeps the ideas flowing. It stops you from getting bogged down into your own short-term memory and what you might have seen that day or that week on the internet. This is my experience over the last few years. It's a lot of people that have contributed to the book in the creative industry, and I hope that it really helps with getting your ideas started.